Alright, here we go with my review of Transformers Prime Soundwave. And first things first, let's get started by reading off the little character bio here on the back of the package. So here's the cardboard part of the packaging here. This is the front of it, obviously. Transformers Prime, there's the artwork there showing Soundwave. And just flip it around. And there's some pictures of Soundwave and his little bio. And his bio says, Soundwave is absolutely devoted to Megatron. He uses his ability to intercept any electronic transmission to ensure the supremacy of his leader and the eventual victory of the Decepticons over the Autobots. So that's his little brief bio there. So just wanted to read that off to you. Now let's get started looking at the actual toy here and just bring him back into frame here. So here he is in his alt mode. And he is basically a unmanned drone of some kind. But if you look at the styling of it, it basically looked like they modeled it after the real-life Global Hawk unmanned drone. So if you want to compare the toy with the real-life version, you know, check that out. Pull it up online. You can probably find some pictures of it fairly easily. So yeah, the front end of it looks very much like the Global Hawk if you've ever seen it before. It has the real long, slender wings here. The back is obviously way different though from the real-life version of the Global Hawk. It doesn't have all the fins and stuff like that. And it's a different color, of course. But it's kind of cool. I like the alt mode. It's something different for Soundwave, something that's a little more practical than, you know, being the old G1 style cassette tape player. And kind of makes sense. He's, you know, secretive, he's stealthy, so it plays in with the character as far as how he's portrayed on the Transformers Prime cartoon show. But anyways, let's kind of zoom in here a little bit closer and just kind of look at it. Not a whole lot in the way of paint apps or real, you know, different coloring to it, which I kind of like and I kind of don't like. It's kind of plain looking, but it kind of makes sense being an unmanned drone or a stealth aircraft of some kind. It's not going to have a bunch of loud colors on it. But there is some little of these like kind of like purplish or magenta looking highlights here and there. And let's just kind of move here and look at the rear of him. And he's got little fins here in the back. And like I said, he's got the long slender wings. And let's just kind of look at him here from the front, sort of head on. So that's it there. And let's just turn him over here, because if you look at him here on the underside, it's pretty clear that, you know, he's a robot. You can pretty much tell, you know, here's his legs, here's his arms, here's his chest. So not too great in that sense that they didn't do a whole lot to conceal him. But it's not a bad alt mode. I think it works overall, you know, as long as you're not really looking at it from underneath, which is kind of typical of a lot of Transformer airplanes in general. But if you notice here in the front, it does have a little landing gear here, pretty small relative to the overall size of the airplane. And I'm a little disappointed that there's no real landing gear here in the rear. I wish they could have maybe had something that flipped down here on the wings or back here somewhere. So he has it in the front, but nothing really in the back. Now, a couple little things I want to point out. If you didn't notice from the little quick glimpse that we saw of the packaging, he does have his little laser beak drone that attaches to him. And it stores right here, which is basically his chest. And let's just kind of zoom in a little bit better on that. So it's plugged in there. I'm not going to take it off just yet. Well, I guess I'll take it off here in a minute. But anyways, it stores right in here. And let's go ahead and just take it off here like that. So it comes off here, and then you just take these, flip them up, fold down the little wings. So that's supposed to be his little laser beak drone that attaches to him, which I think is a really cool feature. I really like the way that they did that. They made it kind of part of him, so to speak, which is obviously a callback to the old G1 style where, you know, was the cassette tapes that would store in his chest and they'd pop out, you know. I'm sure everyone's familiar with that by now. But this is a nice little play feature, gimmick that it's got. And the one thing you can do is you can peg it in right here in this little hole, so you can have it sitting on the top of the airplane there, or the aircraft, when it's in the alt mode, so it can kind of be on top there if you want. Or you can just have it stored away like it was here in the little chest cavity. And you got a couple options here on how you want to do it. You can kind of have it like this, where the wings hang down here, or these little fins hang down, or you could just fold them back up and have them tucked away like they were originally. You know, this is the way they show it in the instructions as far as the proper alt mode goes, but you know, you can kind of change things around, you know, flip these down like so. You can, you know, kind of angle them however you want. Fortunately, it's going to get in the way if you ever try to sit it down, because obviously they're going to hit the ground and just fold up like that. But you do get, you know, you can kind of show it different ways however you want. So that's kind of a neat little thing there. So I think that'll do it here looking at the alt mode. So let's go ahead and get started on transforming this guy. So first thing I'm going to do is just fold his little landing gear up. And what you want to do first is just pull off his little wings here. They kind of tab in right here like that. So just loosen those up or pop them off. And you can go ahead and just pull his legs apart right here. So just get in there and pry those loose like that. So like I said, you can pretty much see, you know, he's almost in robot mode. It's just a matter of moving things around a little bit. So let's move these out of the way, and let's do his legs first. Now to do those, you want to just take the nose part here and kind of open it up like that. And then these parts right here, try and get in here and show it, they're on like a little hinge here. And let's see, they just rotate like that. And it's going to hit this little tab right here, but just keep pressing it and it will go past it. And then this part right here will just flip down. Actually, it'll flip up. Let's see. You want to get this little part in this little groove here, and it doesn't really go in there, but you just got to kind of press past it. It'll kind of bend around it and kind of lock into place there. But be careful with this. One thing about this figure is it does have a lot of kind of real slender, kind of flimsy joints and pieces that can easily be broken. Like this part here, I would think could maybe kind of get worn out or get some stress, little stress fractures in it built up over time. But anyway, so you get this part like this, and then you just kind of rotate it so that it sits flush up with the back side of his leg there like that. So let's do the same thing here. Just kind of rotate everything in. Let's do this part here first. Let's get it into that little groove like that. And then just flip everything there. And then this goes back. That's going to be his heel, and here's his little foot here in the front. So do the same thing on the other side. Let's do that, do that. And then this part here, you just want to take his like knee joint here and kind of loosen it up so that it comes back like this. He's going to get kind of like almost like a chicken leg look. And then just put his little knee plate down like so. So that's going to form his leg, and then just do the same thing here. So kind of loosen it up and then line everything up. Do his little knee part. And with that, you got his legs done now. Let's just kind of straighten them up here a little bit. Anyways, so he stands a little odd. It's just a matter of getting everything to kind of line up there. So there's his legs. So now let's go in here and finish up the rest of him, do his arms and stuff. So what you want to do, I'm going to actually take Laserbeak out of the way just because it's a little bit in the way here. Let's just pop him off. Okay. So what you want to do is take his arms here and just bend this part. It's going to rotate like that. And let's do the same thing here. So just rotate it like that. And then you just move his shoulders up and kind of lock them into place there, like that. And like that. Let's just kind of straighten out his arms here a little bit. And then his head, to reveal his head, you just pull this whole assembly back here. And it's going to make his little head pop up. It's on a little spring. So just pull it back. And there it goes, pops forward. And then you just rotate this part in like that. And just push everything back into place. And just kind of straighten out his little head there. And then to do the rest of his arms, you take this part right here and just kind of lift it up, rotate it, and bend it down like that, and then the rest of his arms folded up here, so just pull it out or flip it out like that. That's gonna extend out the rest of his arms. So do that like that. And with that, you pretty much have him now in his robot mode. So I'm just going to put Laserbeak back here in his little slot. And just fold up his little wings. And straighten out his head. Let's get him to stand up now and kind of straighten him out. So there we go, we got him now in his robot mode. So let's take a closer look at him up close here. Just pan in here. So there he is in his robot mode now. And I really like the way they did his face there. It's kind of sort of ominous looking, kind of different take. I like it. I do wish, however, that they could have maybe light piped it. It's not really got any light piping, it's just painted over here. And it's just a sort of a painted plastic. It's like painted black, but just a little minor complaint. And like I said before, I do like the way they did Laserbeak there, how it stores in his chest. It's sort of part of him. And you know, if you really didn't know that that was Laserbeak, it just looks like it's part of his robot mode overall. So it fits in there nice and neat. So that's cool. The little fingers though, I'm a little disappointed on. They don't rotate at all. And this is another one of those things that, you know, for being a kid's toy, these will probably break off in no time. They're just, you know, flimsy kind of little plastic here. And like I said, a lot of some of these little joints in here could probably break if you're not too careful. So, you know, if you plan on getting this for kids or whatever, it's probably not going to last very long. But whatever. So let's just kind of pan on down here and look at the rest of him. So very slender, very kind of slim looking in his design. Just kind of a unique look. Obviously it's a very different take on Soundwave, which I kind of like. It's something different, something fresh and new. Not too fond of the arms and the hands. Again, I think maybe they could have done something a little different, but it's not bad nonetheless. Just kind of flip him around here and look at him from the back. And so far with the few Prime toys that I've gotten, I have to say they're pretty good as far as the transformation goes. Not a lot of kibble and junk kind of hanging off of them. This one's a little bit kibbly in the sense that it's got this stuff here hanging off the back of his legs. But it's not bad. I can live with it, and especially for being a little deluxe class figure. So that's pretty much all there is to him here in his robot mode. His feet, again, and the way he stands is a little odd. You kind of get him to just balance right and straighten up, just so, otherwise he might kind of topple over. But let's go on here and talk about articulation for him. And pretty much, it's got a good range of motion. The head here is on a little ball joint. It's going to be a little limited here because the little like chin part of him kind of hits his chest here. And you can kind of get locked in here on Laserbeak like that. But you can make them look up and turn around. And also because of the little spring gimmick, it kind of doesn't really stay in place all that great. But you can move it around. The arms here can rotate at the shoulders, can kind of bend inward because of the way it transforms. Although the little fins here of Laserbeak kind of get in the way. This part right in here is like ball jointed. So it can swivel and pivot, bend up and down, can rotate here. You can also get some additional articulation from the little transformation part here. You can kind of fold it in if you want. And like I said, the little fingers here, it looks like they rotate, but they don't. It's just an open hole there. The waist does have articulation. You can rotate them at the waist, which is good. And it can actually go up and down, so you can bend them at the waist area. The legs here, ball jointed. The knees can't really move all that great because it's pretty much just the way it transforms, but they can move nonetheless. And if you notice in here, there's a little joint in here, so you can kind of pivot them a little bit around that little pin there And I think also up in here the upper thigh swivel, and the feet can kind of move up and down just because of the way it transforms, like so. So pretty decent range of movement. Most of it though is just due to the way it transforms. So let's kind of stand him back up here straight. And quickly about Laserbeak again. Since he is removable, you can just pop him off like so. And let's kind of stand him up because he's kind of wanting to tip over here. There we go. So let's go ahead and fold out Laserbeak here. And the one thing you can do is you can have him like perched on his little hand here. Just pegs in there like so. So you can have Laserbeak, you know, chilling on his arm like he's a little falconer dude of some kind. So that's a nice little touch. So all in all, I think this is a pretty good figure. It's one of my favorites from the Prime series so far. I'd say this guy and Wheeljack are probably the two best ones that are out right now, in my opinion. And him being, I think, the only Decepticon in the deluxe class size of figures. You know, it's always nice to have Decepticons. So yeah, I think it's a really really good figure. It's something different, kind of odd. It's probably not for everyone, but I think it's definitely one worth picking up. It's a different take on Soundwave. It's something I like. It's a little bit original. Transformation's not all that great. It's a little on the basic side, but you can live with it, I think. And for the price, it's not a bad figure. So I'd say if you see this guy on the shelves, try and grab him. I think he's worth getting. So with that, I think I'll wrap it up here with my look at Transformers Prime Soundwave.